Have you guys noticed the prices of pedal boards recently? I've been looking at a new pedal board, not that I need one, but I just wanted a backup pedal board, kind of just to put my spare pedals on and have it as a interchangeable pedal board. And the prices of all these pedal boards are ridiculous. Unless you're getting a really small pedal board from a company like Rockboard or Pedal Train, they're crazy prices for what seems to be not a whole lot of product. Even here in Australia, we have this company called Extreme Pedal Boards, and they make other stuff as well. And they're on the cheaper end of what you can get brand new, but they're still so expensive. So it got me thinking. Hey, good idea. My very first few pedal boards were actually just carpet squares glued onto pieces of wood, as you can see with this board here, and also this board here. So I thought, how can I do that in a really high quality way to compete with more expensive boards? Particularly the Warwick Rockboard Tray 3.1, which is a good size for what I was looking for the purposes of this board. So around the 25 centimeters by 50 centimeters. And also the Extreme Pro Pedalboard Medium, which is a similar size. So that's what we're competing against. Can we build something better than that? The key was it had to be cheaper, so I started with this serving board from Kmart for $17 as the base. I then got this carpet square from Bunnings for $9 to stick on the surface of our serving board. For the feet, I actually used door handles, or cupboard handles I guess, from Kmart, which were on sale for $2, and I already had rubber feet lying around, but for the purposes of price we'll use these Bunnings rubber feet for $3. So now that we had all the materials for around $35, the first thing to do was to drill out the holes to install the handles, which will act as our feet for the pedal board. So far we're on track to make a much cheaper pedal board compared to anything else it could be competing against in the market. But there's two questions that we need to answer. Is it worth the time and effort to make one yourself? And do you get a better or just as good product as you would if you just bought a pedal board off the shelf? Knowing what we were competing against, I did my best to do a neat and tidy DIY job, but as you'll see throughout the footage in this video, I am not a very neat or patient guy when it comes to DIY, so unfortunately it's not going to be the best result, but does it function as good as a pedal board that you can buy off the shelf? As you can see, the feet are now on the pedal board. I think they look pretty nice, the black with the wood. So the next step is to test the carpet and make sure pedals stick to it via Velcro. Looks like it does, so we're good to go to the next step. As I mentioned before with some of my very first pedal boards, gluing carpet tiles onto bits of wood to act as a pedal board I found have worked really well for me, but they do have their limitations. Mainly there's nowhere to hide the cables or the wires and things like that. So we need to figure out a way to hide those cables and hide those wires so it's as functional as the boards we're competing against. If you're doing a similar thing at home, make sure to use plenty of glue and get the glue all the way to the edges so the carpet has a good stick. So now we just let the pedal board sit on top of the carpet tile for a little while, let that glue dry and set in, and then we're on to the next step. Okay, now it's time to trim the rest of the carpet away from the pedal board so we have a nice seamless bit of carpet on our piece of wood to stick our pedals on. Now this was quite precarious, as you can see. I really struggled to film and do this, so I didn't film much of it, but you get the idea of what we're doing. I then clamped down some of the loose edges of the carpet so that the glue could dry really well. You can see I took the opportunity to put the rubber feet on the metal handles at the back, as well as some small rubber feet up front, just to protect the floor that it's sitting on from being scratched, as well as to give it just a little bit more elevation. And I think so far it's looking really good. The wood is much more attractive than any sort of metal rail pedal board out there on the market, and I think the carpet sticks the pedals really well. So the next matter is making sure we have places to hide the cables and kind of thread all those cables through so it can look like a nice and neat pedal board when it's done. So with that said, I marked out 2 rows of holes to be drilled. Hopefully they'll be able to work for at least hiding the power cables, maybe not the patch cables, but I don't mind so much the patch cables being visible, especially if you're going to have less pedals on the board. So there's not much left to do now. Overall, it's taken me probably 2 hours at most, and I think it looks really good with the handles on. So the last thing to do is find a spot to attach the power supply. We have a little K-line 6 output power supply here. It's not isolated, but it works really well, and I think I've got a solution coming up to fix the isolation issues. The reason I'm using this power supply and not a bigger or better isolated one is because, as you can see, this one fits under the feet quite well. So we've just put some Velcro there that the power supply can quite easily Velcro to, and that's pretty much it for our pedal board. So here it is, the final product. Overall, I think visually it looks so much nicer than any other pedal drain or rock board or any metal rail pedal board out there. I think it really pops the wood in the right lighting. I think the black looks really nice with the wood, and the carpet sticks the pedals really well. In part 2 of this video, we'll be going through how functional is it actually, and does it compete with a normal rail system pedal board that you can buy off the shelf from a variety of companies. Overall first impressions though, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I think it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with the size of it, and it was just so much cheaper than any other alternative. I'll take that any day of the week. So please comment below what you think of this pedal board, and stay tuned for part 2 where we're going to see if this is a real viable cheaper alternative to a proper off-the-shelf pedal board. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.